So this video is actually going to be about world history, but not the history that's taught in school, and not even the history that's taught in the church. If you want to learn this stuff, you kind of have to do your own digging. So in the book of Genesis, we get an accurate look at the creation story, but not quite a complete look at the creation story. So let's jump to Genesis chapter 6 specifically. And at this point in history, Adam and Eve have been created, they sinned, they left the garden, and human beings have begun to populate the earth. And Genesis 6 tells us that the sons of God began to desire the women and wanted to take them as wives. Now, shortly after this, Genesis also says that the giants, or the Nephilim, lived in those days. Those two things are related. Now, honestly, a lot of people know about this, or at least grasp this a little bit, but this video is going to start at the beginning and kind of go a little bit deeper. So those sons of God that Genesis mentions, those were spiritual beings. They were actually called the Watchers. And there were 200 of them specifically that gave up their heavenly habitation to live among people, because they saw creation and it was good, and they saw the women and they lusted after them. So these 200 angels that were originally assigned to watch over creation, they were called the Watchers for a reason, they banded together and made a pact and an agreement that they would each take a wife, and that their fate would be sealed together, because they knew what they were doing was wrong. Now, not only did these angels take wives, they bore offspring. Those offspring were different races, but more often called the Nephilim. Most of them were a race of giants, massive beings, because in all reality, spirit beings, when they are existing in the spirit realm, are completely different than our physical reality. They're massive. And when a spirit being mates or creates offspring with a flesh being, you have this kind of hybrid being. Giant statured human beings. Now, this is all pre-flood, but having offspring wasn't the only thing that this angel group did. Not only did they take wives and have children, they also taught the human race advanced technologies, weapons of war, how to beautify themselves for vanity, alchemy, astrology, advanced medicine, stuff like that. And what the Bible doesn't talk about, but other religions actually understand, is that the world used to have, before the flood, a super advanced civilization because of these fallen angels and what they brought to humans. But this isn't stuff that was supposed to happen. On top of everything else, these angels did genetic mutations and manipulation. So they were different animal hybrids, human animal hybrids, and then angel or spirit being animal hybrids. And this is where we get a lot of that human animal hybrid imagery in, like, Egyptian religion. Now, these angel beings were worshipped as gods when they walked among men, and this is where you get the religions of ancient peoples. They're all the same real beings, little g gods, that truly did interact and walk among men. Their offspring were the demigods and told stories about all over the world. The angels and their offspring and their genetic manipulation wrought havoc on this earth. Humanity was being destroyed. The genetic manipulation and the war was one thing, but their offspring, the Nephilim, this giant race of people, there wasn't enough food on the earth to sustain them, so they began to attack and eat humankind. And humans, in their agony, cried out to God because of what the angels had done. And this is why God had to flood the earth. It wasn't just because the world was filled with sin. It was. But it was filled with sin and intermingled with a corrupted creation because of what these angels did. The Creator God handcrafted each one of our spirits, our souls, with a plan and purpose for each one of us. But He did not design or plan on those hybrid offspring children. At the time of the flood, God flooded the earth to wipe out this giant race, to give humanity a fresh start. Noah was chosen not just because he was righteous before God, but because he was also genetically pure. He wasn't of a mixed race with these angels. So God had to start over. And was it an easy decision for God? No, but humanity was being destroyed. He had to. And when Genesis says that God regretted that He had made humans, it wasn't because God's creation just went astray and He regretted it. God regretted that He made humans because He had to wipe them all out because of what the angels did. Now, those angels that took human wives and did all the mayhem, they have a destiny of doom, and they know it. And their children that were half human, half spirit being, when they died in the flood, they didn't descend to heaven. There was nowhere for them to go. So their body died and their spirit remained on this earth. And now, post-flood, we have what's called demons. And fallen angels and demons are two very different things, but they're related. Trust me, the strongest demon cannot compare to the strength of a fallen angel. The gods of old, when they were worshipped, the fallen angels would be equivalent to Zeus, whereas the hybrid offspring of Zeus, the demigods, would be the equivalent of the Nephilim children, the giants. Those same deities show up in the Norse religion, the Roman religion, the Greek religion, the Egyptians. And what's crazy is now modern science talks about the Anunnaki. Not modern science, but I guess modern new agey belief about alien life. They talk about the Anunnaki. Guess what? Same thing. The Anunnaki were the original fallen angels and their offspring, and the genetic manipulation that they think happened to create the human race. It happened. There was 100% genetic manipulation. There was 100% advanced civilization beyond our wildest dreams that we haven't even caught up to today. We're getting there. And we're still learning from the same people. Anyway, if you thought the Old Testament gods in the Bible, the little g gods, were literally just carved stone and rock and the human beings worshipped those things, you have a misunderstanding. Those were carved representations of the very real beings that they worshipped, except their gods were the demons and their parents. Here's how all of this pertains to right now, today. All of those things that are mentioned in Scripture, the Anunnaki, the fallen angels, all those little g gods with the different religions, they are still real. They haven't stopped existing. Demons, the beings that were worshipped by the later post-flood religions, are still around. And the currency of the spirit realm is blood. Okay? That's why Yeshua had to come and give his blood as a ransom for many. And in the Old Testament, the other religions all had blood sacrificed to their gods. Blood is life and power, and that, ask people in witchcraft. It's real, and it's real power. Just like it was then, and it is today. You're just basically choosing where you want the power to come from. If you are connecting and searching for the divine, it's all real power. It's just, at the end of the day, you have to choose whom you will serve. Because there are little g gods that can promise power in this world, and they can deliver. But there's one big G God, and he's already won. And we are getting closer and closer to the end. Look around you. Do you not perceive it? As in the days of Noah,